Hello everyone and welcome to this AdonisFX 2.0 tutorial. My name is William Gabriele, creature consultant at Invivo, and I've been working in the VFX industry for over 10 years, focusing on creature development and supervision. During this time, I work with studios like MPC, Framester and DNEG on high-end film production. In this tutorial, I show you the turbo workflow in Adonis. From the start, I always been inspired by the power of auto rig systems, mainly used for animation rigs, as you know. And I kept thinking, why not bring the same speed, structure, and accessibility into the creature effects pipeline for muscle and skin simulations? Well, turbo is exactly that. It takes the core idea of auto rigging from traditional rigging and it brings it into the world of muscle and skin simulation. And the goal is to simplify complex setup and speed up iterations and give artists a more predictable and scalable workflow. But let me show you in simple words what does it mean. So let's think about that we are, as you can see, in this kind of situation. So we do have an anim rig, as you can see in front of you, and if I press play, nothing moves apart from the actual mummy, which is our geometric skeleton. So the muscles are not attached, and of course the fascia is not attached, nothing is following. We just have our anim rig with animation and with the skin cluster on our mummy. All right, quick pause here because this is important. What is the mummy in AdonisFX? The mummy is essentially a simplified version of the geometric skeleton we all used to see in modeling. As you can see in front of you, I have 3 examples that will help you to clarify the concept. In the middle, we can find the mummy, which is not just a simplified version or a reduced resolution of the original geometric skeleton that we all used to see in modeling, in ZBrush, in sculpting, and so on and so forth. And don't get me wrong, having all these lovely details sculpted is very fascinating. It is a pleasure for our eyes. But we all know that all these details and all of this, number of bones and so on and so forth is not so practical for simulations. So yes, we can actually say that our mummy is a proxy version of the high-res sculpted geometric skeleton. But it's not only this. We do have some additional suggestion and requirement to make a proper mummy 100% compatible with AdonisFX. And this not just to reduce the actual number of vertices, as you can see, but also to connect in a very nice way without leaving any gap, of the bones. Because at the end of the day, it resembles, the original anatomically high-res sculpted geometric skeleton, but it will help so much in the simulation base. And as you can see, also the rib cage is water tank. So everything related to the attached to geometry constraint or sliding constraint or the generation of the sensor, it will happen, with maximum performance and precision, which is something we all love when we're talking about simulation. The difference between the screen left multicolor mummy and this one that we do have in the middle is simply related to the actual workflow that we would like to proceed. So when we talk about the crafted workflow, which has been showcased in a dedicated video on our YouTube channel, we usually suggest to have both mummy in the actual AdonisFX setup, because it will help you more to properly define muscle by muscle the attachment and the sliding. But when we talk about, like in this specific video, about the turbo workflow, so we want an automatic result out of the box thanks to the ADN turbo tool, then our suggestion is to use the split version of the mummy. At the end of the day, they are, one a carbon copy of the other. The only difference, as you can see, is that we, separated the front and the back leg. So they're exactly the same, but we just, split it. This will help, of course, the ADN tool to properly identify and create, the constraint, the sensor for the maximum performance and precision. All right, let's go back to the tutorial. Now, Of course, if we follow the crafted workflow, which I suggest you to watch on our YouTube channel, then of course you need to go one by one and define origin, insertion, constraint, properties, and so on and so forth. But the turbo workflow is for all the people that maybe have some time constraint in production, or maybe prefer kind of an out-of-the-box result from, let's say, an auto rigging perspective. So AdonisFX give you in their menu here the turbo tool. So you go to AdonisFX, you press at the end turbo, and here you can see the UI. And it's very simple to use. Some of you on LinkedIn were asking, do we need to have some, I don't know, scripting skills or some specific, technical skills to use AdonisFX? Well, the answer is no, because you can literally, use at the end turbo if you wish. You do have such a lovely shelf here with all the tools. You select everything, you press a button, and it works. And I'll show you in a moment how powerful and easy at the end turbo is. In simple terms, what we need to do is just, put in every field the right element, and the system, like we all know in auto rigs, build the rigs for you. So let's do this together, all right? So let's expand our outline structure from the screen left. And what we need to do is just or drag and drop in the field, or you can actually select, the mummy. Here we do have, as you can see, the mummy splits. And for turbo, I always suggest to go for the splits because it helps to properly do the projection of the muscle when it actually tries to bend into the mummy. So what we do, we select the top group, we plug it here. Muscle, here we are. Here we do have all the geometries of all the individual muscle. We pass just the group. The system will take care about all the rest. Here we are. Locator and sensor, we do have the group. So we pass the groups. If you specify, a specific name, it's going to create for you, no problem at all. Glue layer, we do have the group. So here we are. Then, of course, you need to prepare from the modeling point of view, your fascia, your fat, and so on and so forth. But if you do have it, of course, in your scene, you just select the group, plug it here, the fat as well, you plug it here. I'll show you all the layer while I'm plugging it. And then the skin sim. If you are new to AdonisFX and, or maybe, kind of a beginner into the muscle and the skin simulation workflow, and you missing kind of the concept of cut out of the fascia, of the fat on the skin sim into the InVivo YouTube channel, you will find a lot of tutorial that will show you how to generate them, but it's very, very simple. We can go in details maybe in another video. Now, our ADN Turbo UI is properly populated, and now what we can do is just press apply turbo. And in a matter of couple of minutes, maybe, what the system will do for us is go muscle by muscle and properly try to find the closest point into the geometric skeleton and create all the constraint, do a proper projection. It's going to apply some properties and some maps to each single muscle. Based on the shape of each muscle, it will create, of course, the sensor. They will instruct the muscle how to, contract, expand, and so on and so forth. Then it will take all the muscle, it will combine it all together to create the glue layer that we explain a bit more in detail into the crafted workflow video, which I suggest you to watch because it's very interesting. And then it attach everything through the fascia, and then of course the fat to the fascia, and then the skin seam, and so on and so forth. So it's actually creating for us for free all the layers and all the connection and all the properties. It will take, as I said, a couple of minutes. My machine is a Macintosh with a parallelized version of Windows, so I'm pretty sure your machine will be faster than mine. Our turbo build is now completed, and if I just press play, we will now see the muscle properly following the mummy. And of course, the result will not be 100% perfect, okay? It will not be final, but imagine to just press a button and have your muscle rig moving with all the layers. So it's not just the anatomy layer. If now I turn off the visibility of the muscle and activate the fascia, maybe, you know what, I will disable the visibility of the animal controls, so there will be less in our scene and will be easier to see. And I press play. Let me maybe also, okay, move the mummy here. You will actually see the fascia moving, okay? And the same for the fat. I can actually activate the fat and I can hide the fascia. And you will see, you know, that everything moves and everything is connected. And that's a great result. You know, it took, you know, just few seconds to populate the UI of the N-Turbo. Press one button and the system did everything for us. But let's double check what it did just to properly, well, first of all, debug if it did the right thing. And one thing I wanted to show you is, of course, the sensors. So let me activate the visibility of the mummy here, and now I'll activate the sensor. And as you can see, each single muscle has its own sensor and automatically connected to the mummy. So when I press play, you can actually see the sensor firing, and this, of course, will instruct the muscle when to trigger and when to, you know, extend and compress. And it's not only this, it's also trigger the actual velocity and the impact and so on and so forth. So it's way more than this. But the cool thing is that imagine how long it would take to generate all of this, you know, by hand. Of course, working with Adonis is such a wonderful experience, and you can see this, you know, in the actual tutorial that has been already published, where we actually rig from scratch a biped arm, completely from scratch. So muscle by muscle, sensor by sensor, property by property. And you can see how easy it is, okay? But sometimes in production, specifically in production, we need to show something as soon as possible. Maybe a vanilla walk cycle, as we are doing, you know, together. Maybe to showcase to our supervisors how things are moving, how things are behaving, okay? And Turbo is exactly this. You know, most of the time they ask you, can you show me an out-of-the-box result? Then you're going to show this, and your supervisor or your lead then give you more time to refine the result. But sometimes having tools like this one, auto rig in general, it allow, you know, to kind of release a bit of pressure from the production, because you can have, you know, kind of an out of the box result. Then, of course, as I said before, Turbo is not, you know, comparable to the crafted workflow, which is way more advanced in terms of quality and properties. But, you know, you get this just in a couple of minutes. And this is perfect because you can actually then, you know, maybe go over here and you can use the AdonisFX paint tool, and you can actually refine your settings, your maps, the attached to geometry, you know, map and settings. Maybe you want to change as well the slide on geometry if you want to master the slide more or less. But I believe what we will do in this turbo video, we will split this video in two parts. So the first part, we actually, that's exactly what we're doing. We actually build our system with turbo and we kind of check what we have in the scene. And then in the second part, we will actually see, okay, we do have the turbo built, what we need to do to improve it, okay? How we can bring our turbo setup more close to the crafted quality. What we need to do, what are the steps? Because it could happen that maybe you build your turbo and then you are a bit scared of touching things here and there, okay? because it happened to me, right? You do have a complete setup, and psychologically you don't want to touch maybe too much of the settings or too much of the properties, specifically when you are at the beginning with a new technology. So the goal of these 2 videos will be exactly this: show you how you can get an out-of-the-box result, and how you can get this out-of-the-box result and push it to the next level in terms of quality. Thank you so much for watching this first part of the Turbo workflow. In the comment of this video, you will find actually the link to join our community on the platform Discourse. And it's a great way to be in contact with the entire Invibo team, ask a question, showcase your result, and also give advice or receive advice from other members of the community. That's a great way to improve and to get in touch. If you do have any questions, of course, you can go through the community, or you can leave a comment down this video, and we will be more than happy to answer as soon as possible. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see each other in the next video.